This is Houston. Say again, please.
Houston, we've had a problem.
Hey there folks, welcome to a brand new game, Wasteland 2. I've been promising that I will show off parts of this game. I suggested I might do a Let's Play on it, but I probably won't do a full Let's Play on it. I don't think it's a game that people are going to watch on that much of a regular basis to see it every fight, every step of the way and so on. So what I'll do is regular little post-ups of me as I go through the story and things get more interesting. I'll post up bits of the fighting and the different aspects of the storytelling and the decision making in the world and that sort of thing. Really looking forward to this one. I've played an hour of it just to get my head around it, like I do with most games before I do these videos, just to try and get a feel for them so that I don't look completely stupid and they're semi-interesting so I can talk a little bit about them. I played it on, I think it was called Ranger mode, which is supposed to be standard, but as it happens I found it really tough going, so I have started a brand new game on rookie mode because that's the kind of guy I am. I mean, I'll go and play I will play this game again later, but I think for the sake of showing it off and the sake of me getting used to it, rookie's definitely the way to go. It was really tough. There was some fights at the beginning I found okay, but you have to get your head around the mechanics of healing people and all this sort of stuff, and it's turn-based. The enemies I wasn't familiar with at all, and I got absolutely handed to me in one fight after doing really well in about 3. Everybody died all of a sudden, and I had to start again. So I've just kind of been learning how to get my head around the world, so I think doing it in rookie mode is a great idea. I have started another game with brand new characters that I made. I used default characters in the initial playthrough that I did. I've got to the point where we go out into the open world, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how you create your characters and how this game kicks off, just get the lay of the land. Once we've done that, which is about 10 or 15 minutes, I'll then schmelt that into where I have created the characters and done all this bit already. I'll start from there and we'll start to travel into the world. Hope that makes sense. So let's crack into it then. Yeah, that's fine. It's only the autosave. We can go back to my proper save later. And the first thing it's going to ask us to do is squad creation. So again, we're not going to keep this squad. I'm just doing this to let you see what the mechanics are and how you create these people, what different skills and abilities and so on you can give them. So we're going to go with well, as I say, when I first played it I used the default squad. You can do that, and when you hit that it will go straight into the game and you'll get 4 characters. It was kind enough to give you one of each kind, so you got like a sniper, you got a automatic rifles person, you got a healer, you got a brawler, I think the other one was, or a knife, I think it was a knife person, sharp weapons, that sort of thing. So if you've no ammo, that's the guy that can, or girl that can kick some ass with their hands. But we're going to go into the creation one here. Now what you can do is you can pick a default character and then edit them rather than have to go through the whole procedure of creating one. I'll click on create just so you can see it, and I like what they've done with it. It's not too complicated and it's not too simple, so you can do quite a lot here. You can spin your character around on the left so you can get a good idea of how they're looking as you go through things. Let's say that we are making a doctor, and as it happens in the playthrough we're going to do, I have called ours, well, a medic, and I've called her Stitches because there's no better name for a medic. I'll keep her as a girl, or a lady, or a woman, whichever one you want to, whichever one of those suits you best. And I suppose she's 20, so she's a girl. And you can give them a biography. I've given them little funny biographies as it happens. You don't have to, I don't think. And on the right there you can see a square symbol, customize appearance, and you can't have a hairdo and a hat. It's either a hat or a hairdo. The minute you go onto hair it'll change it to that, and the minute you come off of that it'll change it to the hat. So they don't work in combination, those two things, but everything else does. And you can go through. There's a lot of silly options in there. I know a lot of people like silly ones, a lot of people like normal ones, and so on. It's got a lot of Native American type stuff thrown in as well, which is quite nice. And head, you can take the glasses off, different kinds of glasses or markings or mud and so on. All sorts of the extreme. And the torso, obviously, all the upper body stuff. I don't know if more and more gets added to this as you play through. You can pick up armour and such like. I don't know if that changes their appearance. I haven't got that far yet. And you can also pick out the rucksacks that they wear. And legs. And there's loads of different kinds of those as well. And skin tone, of course. Whichever race you would like. And you can change, I think she's sort of mediocre size. But, yeah, you can go from the very big to the very... Keep her normal. Well, not normal. It's a bit nasty to anyone that's not little, isn't it? But we'll keep her as she was when we went in. And you can randomise, which, do you know, I've never tried. Let's try it. Way! Awesome. There you go. So, if you can't be bothered faffing around like I just did, you can just keep hitting the randomise button until you get something you like. Whoa! She's little. There you go. Give you an idea of it. Obviously just a randomised component pickup. Okay. So, that's quite cool. I like that one. Okay, and then we hit R2 to go to the stats section. So here you are, here's where all the clever stuff happens. And you've got at the top right there, L1 and R1. You can go through the combat skills, knowledge skills, general skills. And those 12 skill points remaining underneath there, those are used to populate each of those tabs. So you've got 12 points to spend throughout those 3 tabs. Obviously, as you play the game, you'll be given more of these points to add on and increase things. I assume. I haven't got any yet, but that's the way these games work, isn't it? So, okay, and on the left-hand side, we've got our attribute points. And so when you scroll down, you'll see the bottom right-hand information set changing and telling you what each of these things are. And luck seems to be a pretty good one here. I mean, these are very similar to Fallout. You know, from these the guys who gave us the very first Fallout, that makes some kind of sense. So if you've played Fallout, you'll kind of get an awful lot of this. And the components of attributes are almost identical, if not identical. So it's just as in depth as that, really. So with the character, you would, if well, with our doctor, I think I've gone with a big pile of luck. And I can't remember now. I think I went with some intelligence and awareness, that sort of thing. And on the right hand side, for the, I think I gave her a shotgun point just to give her something to do with weapons so that she's not without. And then I gave her the field medic, I gave her a couple of those, and I gave her a couple of surgeons. And general skills. I think I might have given her a little bit of perception. And... okay, so those, yeah, this is something I've just remembered. Though, where the white marks are there, where if I take one away, just there. Okay, where there's a little diamond in the one next to it we're going to populate, their points are double the amount. So even though, even if I had some more points to spend, I would need, I think, 4 of them instead of... yeah, I'm pretty sure if I wanted to go to the next stage, I would need 4 points instead of 2. That each of those things were costing me 2 points. Although with the perception one there, it was only costing me a point. So it does vary, you have to watch what you're doing, but you get plenty of time to tweak it about. I think once you've gone past this point though, that's it, it's set in stone-ish. Obviously you can add to it, but I don't think you can take away after that. They are what they are, their set stats sort of stay fixed. Okay, so we're not going to be keeping these characters anyway, so I'll shift on to the next bit. I think, yeah, so you had combat skills and the knowledge skills. All of this is... I mean, it's fairly self-explanatory if you're used to playing these sort of RPG type games, and you have the usual, you have a sort of sharp instrument bearer, you've got the baseball bats and such like, you've got the fists, people that use the fists, then you've got energy weapons, sniper rifles, long range people, you've got shotgun people and so on. You know, it's fairly self-explanatory. And you can pick, you can build these people to be whatever you want them to be. Knowledge skills are going to help us. There's a lot of areas in this game apparently where you can break into places. There's multiple ways through an area. You can try and fight your way through, you can try and sneak your way through, you can try and lockpick your way through, all these sorts of things. I was looking at this toaster repair ability here, which is interesting. It's a little quirky one they've thrown in, and it's someone that can, when you find toasters around the world and you take them apart, you find special things inside them. So that's an interesting one, although I don't think I've given it to anyone, but it is an interesting one though, quite like that. You've got safe cracking there, computer hacking, again was in Fallout. There's a demolition perk, lockpicking's always there, isn't it? But in this case obviously we went with field medic and surgeon because that's what we're interested in her being. Healing folks. Animal whisperer. Yeah. So you can stop animals attacking you using that perk, which is quite cool. Yeah, so you get the idea. And we move over to R2 again, move on to the next step. Oh, I have unspent attribute points, for goodness sake. Let's go back over. Just give her speed, that's it. And these quirks, again, this is very Fallout-like. You can give them special quirks which help you in battle, but they also have a drawback. And so you may get... there's a little doll everybody wants, isn't it? So a +2 base action points, but you get 50% base combat speed is minus 50% base combat speed. So for every perk you get, you'll get a detrimental effect. I mean, there's one in there, I think, that randomly shoots bolts of lightning into the area, but it could hit you or it could hit them. So it could be handy or it could not be. So I have decided not to use the perks until I get more used to the game. But attributes change randomly by +1, -1 every 10-15 minutes. So it could help or hinder you, couldn't it? So yeah, I was never a fan of these in Fallout either, because I could never quite judge what the best thing to do with them was. So in our case, it was just no quirk is what we went with, and that's it really. So in all the other characters, if you didn't want to do all of that for every character, you could just, if you want to say create 2 characters and keep 2 default ones, then just hit the square by, you know, an existing ranger, and then pick out of the list of existing ones. And in that case, obviously we've got sticks, so we would take, as it happens in our team that we've gone with, I've taken Bear, I think, and I've taken Bear as a basic character, and then I edited her as a, so you can pick this person and then edit the way they look and stuff, which is quite cool. Use them as a template. So we used Bear, who was more of a, oh no, I don't want to do that. Yeah, no. Right, okay. Cool, making hard work of this. Right, let's... Don't know why I went into... Oh, hang on a minute. Go back. Previous. No, we don't want to leave that character. Oh, okay. I thought it was going to take us right out of the whole customization. Okay, so we'll keep Bear as she was, and we'll take another existing ranger, just so we can get to the beginning of the story, really. So there you go. We've got Big Bert, who's a bruiser. He's a fisty guy, so he won't use weapons in the main part. And we'll go with Cold Eye. I think he's in our squad as well, and I've edited him. There you go. So you pick out your 4 people, and here we go. So I've picked... I tried it on... Oh, actually, yeah, okay, I didn't try it on Ranger. That was far too hard. I tried it on Seasoned, as it happens, and I was struggling. After the first 3 fights I did okay, and then after that I was starting to struggle with fights that I couldn't cope with, so I went with Rookie. And I'll let you see the intro to it, and give you a little bit of the lay of the land, and then I'll smelt that into the beginning of the characters I've created off camera. I mean, I simply did that because I didn't think it was going to be something people would want to sit and watch me do for about half an hour. So I thought I would do a little quick one on it, let you see the beginning, and then we'll jump straight into the ones that I've done. It's still right at the beginning of the game anyway. Haven't been anywhere yet. It's not too long, this bit. Jump straight into a bit of story in a second.
What comes after the end? I don't know. Neither did they. They were just an Army engineer battalion, constructing roads and bridges deep in the middle of the Arizona nowhere. They didn't know why Armageddon had come. They'd heard radio chatter about an attack on some space-based missile platform. But who had attacked it, or why? No one knew. What they did know is that the politicians and the generals had finally ended the world. Now, everything was gone. They took over a federal prison for a fort, kicked out the convicts, got busy starting from scratch. Maybe it was an act of mercy. Maybe they figured that the prisoners would die out in the harsh new world. Whichever, it came back to bite the engineers in the ass. Cultists, criminals, cannibals. They've been living with the fallout ever since. Good people had survived too, called for help in the night. And those engineers, those common soldiers, could not stand by and see them die. So they came out of their fort, and they helped the survivors defend their homes. And for that, they earned a new name, a proud name, the Desert Rangers. Now, Rangers, I know at times it seems our cause is hopeless, and I know it's hard to say goodbye to a brother in arms. But I want you to know something else. That no Ranger who dies in the line of duty will ever be forgotten. Nor will he have ever died in vain or unavenged.
There you go. That's a little intro for it.
Thank you, recruits.
Okay, so this is the area where I'm still in from the one that I've started it all off on. So I haven't left this area. This chap we're speaking to is our commander, and he'll guide us through the open world and everything. We'll hear more of him later. And you start off... Now, this section at the bottom here, you've got... continue.
I appreciate you coming to Captain Ace's retirement party when you hardly knew the man. Appropriate, too, seeing as how investigating his death will be your first duty as a Desert Ranger.
Okay, so again, they've thought nicely about the menu here, because I'm really impressed with what they've done with the menu. They've really thought about how we're using it on a controller. because it has been ported from PC, this game, so it could have been easy for them not to think about it too much. Just a lot of games get it all wrong, but they've done really well with making it nice and easy for us. So the options you get are down here at the bottom. You know what you want to ask the guy. So here it's how did Ace die, sir?
Ace had been trying to locate a faint radio signal, which has lately been giving us cause for concern. We gave him 3 repeater units and sent him to hook him up to 3 remote radio towers. This would have allowed us to get a fix on the signal. But sadly, Ace was murdered by unknown assailants right after hooking up the first tower, and his logbook and the last 2 repeater units were stolen. Yeah, I know. You've hardly found your feet with us, and here I am sending you on a mission that already got 1 ranger killed. Well, I wish I had another option, but the Desert Rangers are spread a little thin right now. Ranger teams Abel and Charlie are out west trying to stop a range war out there from becoming straight-up genocide, and Team Baker is up north looking for a way through the radiation that's cut us off from Vegas. I'm afraid the next generation is going to have to lead the charge on this one.
Okay, so rather than go through everything here, the long and the short of it is Ace, who was an awesome ranger, has been killed trying to investigate a signal which has been put out by some random massive big bad who have put a message out to say they're going to come and destroy the Rangers and lead the world and all this sort of malarkey. So it's kind of to try and find out what happened to Ace as the initial mission. Now, you get a lot of choices down here. The one I wanted to show you before we jump out of here, I'm not sure if I say goodbye if it'll jump to the next bit. So
Are you walking away from me, recruit? I'm not done talking.
Sorry.
Stop right there and listen up.
Sorry, boss. Okay.
Much better.
Thank you.
Now your mission is this. Search the area where Ace's body was found and do your best to recover his logbook and the repeater units.
Okay.
And radio in your report. If the repeaters are in good working order, I may send you on to finish his mission. I know you're going to be tempted to hunt for Ace's murderers along the way, and if you find them, good. But your priority, however, is finding that signal. Vengeance for Ace's death is not as important as assessing this threat to our security.
Okay, got it. Okay, I think you do have to go through all of these questions.
Disturbed me greatly. It talked crazy talk about a future where man and machine would be one. Worse, it talked about us, the Desert Rangers, specifically. It said it was
coming for us. Yeah, there you go. So there's a big bad coming to get the Rangers.
When you get back to the Citadel, talk to our radio expert, Wade Woodson, if you want to know more about the technical details. All I know is the repeaters will upgrade the towers and allow us to zero in on the mystery signal. I'll give you the locations of the towers once you have the repeaters in hand. More important to find them first. Don't know, but it wasn't on Ace's person when he was found. Look for it. It might have some clues as to his death. It's about a day's walk east from here. I'll mark it on your map.
Okay, so there's the first sign of the map that we use. I'll show you a bit more of that more easily once we're into the main game.
There you go. Good luck out there, recruits.
Okay, so there's the squad that we created. It just tells you a little bit about the logbook. Like most RPGs, you've got a logbook and a sort of information center, somewhere you can look at your characters, somewhere you can look at your quests and the map, obviously. So there's quite a lot in there. I'll show you that as well as we go through it. And there's the characters we created. Got a blunt instrument guy, a sniper guy, a medic with a shotgun, I think, and the auto rifle woman there. Now the very first thing that you don't want to miss is that shovel, because it's going to help us find stuff in the soil. Lots of tutorial stuff pops up at this point. And okay, another thing that's quite interesting. Now this is a top down, and you can zoom up a bit if you want to go more bird's eye of an area. You can also, if you click the right stick at the top right of the screen here, you'll see changing symbols. That's different camera movements. So this one allows you to run freely and pan the camera around while they're running. If you click it again, this one lets you move with the right stick, lets you scan the area without moving the team. which is particularly handy. And this right one seems to let you go through your notes and stuff at the bottom right hand corner of the screen, so you can double check what was being said to you and that sort of thing, which is quite cool. Okay, although not overly sure how to get that back down now. If we go all the way to the top, maybe. No, maybe not. Okay, maybe it'll sort itself out.
What else do you need?
Okay, that was me hitting the right bumper button there. And it tells you about the radio. Now, when your characters get level ups, you have to radio back to the citadel, well, to this chap here. And the Ranger Citadel, I think, then upgrades your players, giving you rewards and such like. So the radio is apparently very, very vital. I've only used it a couple of times and I haven't had any level ups in the little trial playthrough that I did, so... And... let's see, trying to remember where we are. There's a woman up here which... okay, so this is the area, this is the Ranger Citadel, and we're not allowed to go in there yet because we have to prove ourselves on this mission first, because we're recruits. So if we speak to this guy, it's a little lesson in... okay, so we can't ask that first question because we don't have kiss ass level 1. So we have to go with the second option here. So it is a little bit of a training session, the fact that you're going to have all these options in the main game as well when you're out there, and there's different ways you can speak to people. You can try and be friendly with them, be nasty with them, and that sort of stuff. So in this case we'll go with this one. Not all the characters have voice acting, obviously you can see that. The main ones do, but little side people just writing. I actually quite like that in some games. I liked it in Ni no Kuni as well, because it made you... a lot of the time when voice actors are talking, you don't always pay attention to everything they're saying. You kind of go off, you stop listening at times, or I do. So I found it quite good for making sure that I had to take in what was being said. So I do like it from time to time. It's nice. Okay, so he's basically offering us a gun to try out in the field. And you've got an option again to say, get out of the way and let us in, but that'll probably not end well. You go, yeah, you bet, give us the gun. And yeah, I promise we'll give it a good testing. And that's it. Say goodbye, and off we go. Now, the other thing here, we can... there you go, Stitches has received a 10-12 gauge ammo. And the gun to go with it. And, yeah, see the little star around Stitches there? You just hit the R1, L1s, and it will jump between the character you want to move around, and so on. And it's going to tell us about camera control now. It doesn't tell us. Oh, there we go, yeah, change its size. Oh, hang on a minute, yeah, plus and minus might change its size, mightn't it? Let's try that. So if we go to... no. That's not quite what I wanted to. Ah, there you go. So you can make it bigger or smaller just by going right or left on the stick. Good stuff. I think it was about that size, wasn't it, when we went in, or thereabouts. So that's fine. And then change back to normal camera. So there you go, so you can make anyone the leader. There's also, the D-pad also has... yeah.
Echo 1. I'm picking up that can over there. There's some water.
Ow.
He headbutted you right in the butt.
There's a, I don't know what that's all about. I think it's just meant to be humorous. There's a woman, not there. Is she up here? The shovel. Here you go. This is the very thing it's for. If you don't have the shovel, you cannot do this, so make sure you pick up a shovel or find a shovel or buy a shovel. I watched somebody playing this game, and apparently they sold the shovel the minute they met the woman at the shop, and then they were completely stuck for picking stuff up. Scraps the currency, so you definitely want that. You can take all with square, or hit X to pick up one piece. And that's it. Nice and simple. I'll try and show you the woman with the... He's just a guy. He just says he's busy when you try and speak to him. Hang on, we've gone the wrong way here. You can, as it happens, let me try and remember how this is done. You can, there you go, if you click the left stick, it means the person with the start is the only person that will move. And you can leave the team in a safe zone, which is quite cool if you're about to go into a fight. I have found, and I'll go through this more when we're in a fight, but unlike XCOM, where you go in and automatically start moving squares forward, you don't start the fight until you actually bump into an enemy almost, or until they see you. So you can't do that. You can't, you can't take cover in advance and stuff that I can find anyway a way to do. So it is quite cool that you can do that and then get someone to scout ahead, and then you can bring the others in once the fight starts, which is quite cool. And they'll catch up, yeah. So the minute I clicked off and started moving again, they caught up. And I'm not going to pick all the stuff up that's under here because I've already done it with the characters we're going to do the playthrough with. Where is that woman? Forgot where she is now. There's a woman somewhere with a shop is what I'm trying to show you. Here we go, here we go, here we go. There you go. And you can ask her all sorts of questions about where she comes from and all that sort of thing, which we won't do at the minute. And then you can trade. Now you start off there. Now down at the bottom it says squad scrap. That's your currency. We've got $59, which is just not enough to buy anything at the minute. So, you know, it's completely pointless. You can see how much these items are at the top right of the screen, where it says selected item, leather jacket, £5 and $125. And she can also sell you all sorts of little gadgetries and bullets and such like. But in order to do so, we need the monies. So we're going to have to get out there and do it. The D-pad also has... What was the other thing I was going to show you? There's a crouch button, I think it was I was going to show you. Let's have a look at that. There you go. And I'm not sure what the benefit of that is yet. You can do that and then you can't, because the minute you start walking you get up again. So it could be that in a certain situation crouching is going to be useful for something, but we'll have to wait and find out what it is because I'm not sure what it is yet. And up on the D-pad gives us our map of what's around. And now it's a map that there's no cursor to it, you can't free scroll it, but you can go up and down the different things that have been discovered. And that's obviously a local map. If you R2, you'll get the world map. Again, the world map isn't a free scrolling like a mouse. It's you basically highlight the one you want to go to and you hit X and it'll take you there once you're in the open world. It won't teleport you there. I'll explain all that once we get outside. Okay, so I've done all this running around in this area. There's not a huge amount. It was just digging up the stuff lying around, talking to those people, and I've ended up here. And this is where we're going to go out into the open world. And as I say, this is going to, well, once I've edited this, it's going to smelt, and that team is going to change into the team that I've built off camera and took a bit more time over to get right. And we're going to go off into the wilderness, and we'll see all the exciting things and fights and world that's out there. So I hope you've enjoyed that. It's a little intro to the game. I am already a little bit addicted to this game. I know it's not awfully exciting sometimes to look at menu type work and intros to games, but I hope that's given you a taster of what it's like. It does get very interesting in the fights and stuff out there, and I'm quite glad I've got to start again on Rookie because it was pretty tough going. So anyway, there you go. I hope that's given you a little feel for it, and I may do this as an intro video, and then the next video will be straight into the action from this point, straight out into the open world, showing you all the more exciting stuff. So I hope you've enjoyed that. It's been an honour and a privilege showing this off for the first time, and I will see you in part 2, which I may well post up, if not at the same time, then very shortly afterwards, and we'll get cracking on part 2. Thank you very much. See you later. Bye.